Once upon a time, on a warm summer's afternoon, a little girl named Emma was visiting her best friend Lily at her house. It was the first day of summer vacation, and the two girls were bubbling with excitement, ready to spend their days together exploring, playing, and maybe even discovering a few secrets along the way. Lily's house was an old, creaky place that seemed to whisper with stories from the past. Emma loved visiting because every room had a charm of its own. But today something strange happened. As the two friends were playing in Lily's bedroom, a soft creak echoed from the corner of the room, where an old wooden cupboard stood. Emma glanced at Lily. "Did you hear that?" Lily shook her head. "It's probably just the house making noises. It's old, remember." But Emma couldn't ignore the sound. It was like a faint whisper, almost like something was trying to get her attention. Curious, Emma walked over to the cupboard and gently opened the door. To her surprise, it was empty. No old clothes, no hidden treasures. Just shadows and dust. "See," Lily said with a laugh, "it's just the house." But Emma wasn't convinced. The next day, as she played alone in the room, the noises returned. This time, they were louder, almost like a soft tapping, as though something was knocking from inside the cupboard. She opened the door again, but there was nothing. No tapping. Nothing but silence. As days passed, Emma's curiosity grew. One afternoon, when Lily was away, Emma decided to investigate further. She crept up to the cupboard, held her breath and waited. The tapping started again, more insistent this time. Without thinking twice, she opened the cupboard wide, and to her astonishment, the back wall of the cupboard slid open, revealing a hidden doorway. The room beyond was like nothing she had ever seen before. It was a small, cozy space, filled with magnificent toys. Dolls that seemed to move when you weren't looking. Shiny toy cars that zoomed around without a push. And stuffed animals that blinked their eyes. Emma's heart raced with excitement. This was a dream come true. She stepped into the secret room, her eyes wide with wonder. The toys glimmered as if they were waiting just for her. She ran her fingers over the smooth surface of a toy train that started to chug along when she touched it. She picked up a soft teddy bear that seemed to nuzzle into her arms. It was perfect, just the way she had always imagined. But when Lily came over the next day, Emma hesitated. She wasn't sure if she should tell her friend about the secret room. But curiosity got the better of her, and she pulled Lily to the cupboard. When Lily opened it, there was nothing. The cupboard was completely ordinary. Emma frowned. "But it was here yesterday. I promise." Lily looked at her, puzzled, but shrugged it off. "Maybe it was just your imagination. Old houses do funny things." But Emma wasn't sure. The room had been so real, so perfect. She kept visiting the cupboard, and each time she did, the secret room was different. One day, it was filled with shiny jewels and sparkling dresses. The next day, it was a tiny world made of candy, with chocolate rivers and lollipop trees. Every time, it was exactly what Emma wished for, just waiting for her to step inside. Then one day, something unexpected happened. It was a dark and stormy evening, and the two friends were huddled under a blanket, telling ghost stories. Lily was particularly fond of spooky tales, and she was telling Emma all about a haunted mansion deep in the woods, where ghosts roamed the halls and eerie sounds echoed through the rooms. As the storm raged outside, Lily looked at Emma with a mischievous grin. "I bet you can't imagine the perfect ghost mansion. A place filled with haunted things, mysterious rooms, ghostly servants, everything." Emma shivered. "That sounds scary." Lily giggled. "Come on, you must have some idea of what your haunted mansion would look like." Emma thought for a moment. "I guess I'd want it to be big and dark, with big portraits on the walls. Maybe a secret room like the one in the cupboard. But instead of toys, there would be ghostly figures that float around." Lily nodded thoughtfully. "I think I'd like that too. But I'd add a huge ballroom, with chandeliers that swing in the wind, and ghostly music playing forever." With a thrill of excitement, Lily went to the cupboard and opened the door. As she stepped inside, Emma's heart pounded in her chest. But to her horror, what appeared before them wasn't the friendly, magical world Emma had always seen. The room was dark, filled with swirling shadows and eerie figures drifting across the walls. The floor was cold, and the air smelled damp, like an old, forgotten place. Suddenly, a figure materialized before them. An old ghost in tattered clothes, with eyes that glowed like embers. Lily gasped, her eyes wide with both fear and fascination. The ghost didn't speak. It just floated there, watching them. Emma grabbed Lily's arm. "Lily, we need to go. Now." But Lily was transfixed. "It's just like I imagined. This is perfect." But it wasn't perfect. The air grew colder. The walls seemed to close in, and the room felt wrong. Emma pulled Lily toward the door, but the ghostly figure moved in front of it, blocking their way. They were trapped. With a burst of panic, Emma remembered what the cupboard had always shown her. The rooms reflected their desires. But sometimes, desires could take a darker turn. "Lily, I think the cupboard is changing us. It's not just giving us what we want. It's twisting our wishes." The ghost stepped closer, its cold fingers brushing Emma's cheek. She shuddered. She knew they had to get out before whatever force was behind the cupboard's magic took control. Together, they managed to push the ghostly figure aside and ran out of the room, slamming the cupboard door behind them. Panting and terrified, they looked at each other, realizing how much they had let their imaginations run wild. From that day forward, Emma and Lily agreed never to wish for anything too dark or dangerous again. The cupboard was still there, waiting, but they knew better than to tempt its magic. They had learned that sometimes it was best to leave wishes unspoken, and some doors, no matter how tempting, were better left unopened. And so, they spent the rest of their summer playing, not in secret rooms filled with strange wonders, but in the real world, where magic wasn't hidden away in cupboards, but in the friendship they shared.